And of course, as I'm speaking to you today, the World Junior Championships are in progress in Edmonton. Unfortunately, there are no fans present, but there will be fans next year. But the most important thing is that it is happening. And Canada right now looks like they're firing on all cylinders. Now, a little bit of a caveat for that. I mean, so far Canada opened the tournament. They opened the tournament against Germany. They played Slovakia. They played Switzerland. All three of these countries are not what you would call hockey powerhouses. I mean, Slovakia and Switzerland, they could actually get there someday. And as a matter of fact, I do think that the double IHF, they should expand the number of countries that automatically qualify for these tournaments from 6 to 8. Slovakia and Switzerland should be included in that because they have come in such a long way in such a short period of time compared to a lot of other countries. So for those of you who may not be aware, the countries that automatically qualify for international tournaments under the IIHF are Russia, the United States, Finland, Sweden, the Czech Republic, and of course, Canada. Now those countries are your six, what you would call your six marquee countries in terms of international play. Because really in any given year, at almost any given tournament, it is possible that any one of those countries could be the one that comes through to win it in the end. Now Canada, we do win the most often, and the Russians are obviously next in line. Now Canada, we do win the most often, and the Russians, they do tend to be in line more often than not. And that's not a coincidence. There is a reason for that. And basically what that comes down to is depth. We have the most, those two countries have the most what you would call top-level players out of any of those six countries. Mostly because those are the countries where the most people play. Those are the countries where the most kids grow up playing the sport, and well, you can actually see that in particular in Canada every year when they have their big selection camp. I mean, it was a little bit smaller this year than in previous years. But in just the sheer number of players that they can invite from across the various junior leagues to come and potentially represent Canada in this tournament. It's a huge number of players. And so Canada faced a little bit of adversity very early in the tournament. And actually they're going to face this throughout the remainder of the tournament now. Because one of the first things that happened even before the puck had officially dropped, Team Canada's captain, Kirby Dach, he got knocked out of the tournament with a broken wrist. Now the one thing that a lot of people, they always look forward to with this tournament is they look forward to how Canada's big stars are going to perform on this this stage. You know, on this best-on-best level, you know, amongst their age group. And this year, Canada, they don't have those big stars present like previously. I mean, Kirby Dach, he's out. Alexis LaFreniere, the New York Rangers, wouldn't clear him to come and participate in the tournament. And so really, we don't have that huge star power, that big firepower available for this tournament in quite the same way that we're used to. And actually, I think that through some of these games, I think that's reflected in the way that Canada has played this year compared to some of these previous years. You know, guys on the third and fourth lines, at this point they realize that they can't just go into that tournament and rely on big star players on the first or second line to carry the offense. Everybody knows that they have to show up and they have to get it done together as a group. Now, I know that there are a lot of people out there that were less than enthused about that 3-1 victory over the Slovaks. I know that a lot of people probably thought that probably should have been about, you know, a 4-0, maybe 6-1 game for Canada compared to what we actually got in the end. And, you know, I wouldn't panic so much on that. I mean, the fact that they turned around to beat Switzerland 10-0, which is a very impressive feat. I mean, usually in these tournaments, when you beat Switzerland, you're not beating them by big margins like that, and Canada got it done. And so what happened between those two games? Well, first of all, in the Slovak game, the Slovaks have a fantastic goaltender this year. And that guy had to play a very strong game to keep Canada to 3 goals. Now, in the Switzerland game, they just came back together as a team, refocused, came out and just blew them away. And I honestly do think that in terms of just the teamwork on the team this year, I think that it is off the charts because they realize that it has to be. And so this year, on New Year's Eve, Canada is going to face their first big test of the tournament in Team Finland. You know, it's always very different playing against those top 6 teams than it is against, you know, the 7 or 8 team or in the case of the Germans, the 9 or 10 team. And so tomorrow night we'll see what's going to happen. I mean, it's as simple as that. You know, it's a very important game. It is a pivotal game. Whoever wins this game is going to win the pool. But it isn't as if either team is facing elimination. Really, the difference between the two is one more game, likely against a very much weaker opponent. You know, along the lines of maybe drawing Germany again, or maybe facing Austria, depending on how the rest of those pools shape up. But I mean, regardless of whichever way it goes, I mean, isn't it just nice to have hockey back again? Because in all honesty, man, did we ever need it. I mean, really, just for the sake of actually having some good news to talk about, we needed this. And now that it's actually happening, you know, I feel that more strongly than ever. And I can't imagine where we would be right now if we didn't have something positive to talk about.